I felt it was important that we have this meeting together. So, Mr. Karogo, the chairperson of the Kenya Coffee Platform, fellow CECs who are present here, colleagues from the COG Secretariat, I can see Loktari and Kiteme, all the steering committee members present, any other invited guests, our colleagues from the Ministry of Agriculture. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Mary Nzomo. I'm the CEC for Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperatives, Nzoia County, another frontier for coffee. And I'm the chair of the CEC Caucus. And I just want to make a few remarks on behalf of my colleagues. Like I said, we've really appreciated that Mr. Karogo, you are able to organize this meeting for us. And we want to also thank everybody who has made this meeting possible. And especially at this time when we are having COVID, this meeting ideally would have been a physical meeting, but we know there are challenges associated with COVID. And I would say that in the midst of COVID, this has awakened our thinking on how we can make the sector more resilient and even adaptive to any shocks. And I would really like to reiterate the commitment and the efforts the county governments have made towards making the coffee subsector competitive and rewarding to the farmers. And I know a number of counties here have made efforts such as farmers training, provision of subsidized inputs, which include fertilizers and seedlings. And this is a message of the county governments to revitalize the subsector. So you can see the efforts which are being done by the counties. And I know this is not the first coffee platform meeting that we are having, Mr. Karogo. You remember in the previous meetings, I've always emphasized on you looking beyond the traditional coffee growing zones. And like my colleague from Nandi has said, we are seeing emerging frontiers and emerging giants for coffee production in the North Rift, South Rift, and even in the Lake region. So we are happy that we are all here to share this roadmap and give our input to the roadmap. And I really want to appreciate what the roadmap offers us. At a quick glance, I realize that the roadmap will guide the implementation of the key pillars identified in the Coffee Action Plan for the coffee subsector. And it will also facilitate the sharing and flow of information among actors in the coffee subsector. And I want to applaud KCP for having managed to bring all the key coffee stakeholders together. It also reinforces the mainstreaming of the key pillars to drive the sector in planning and also budgeting, with a greater focus now on the coffee sector. And of course, the enhancement of stakeholder participation in decision making as far as the coffee subsector is concerned will really be enhanced through this kind of roadmap. And I need not say that agriculture being a devolved function, of course, the roadmap places the counties as the center of any development in the coffee industry and key in the execution of various interventions aimed at improving the sector. And that's why we said we needed to give this meeting more weight by just having the CECs here. And this roadmap, the way you look at it, it's aligned actually to the policy and the legislative framework for coffee revitalization action plan, as articulated in the Act of 2016, and is actually a priority in the current coffee revitalization action plan. And of course, the two levels of government are fully committed to deliver this roadmap and to see that it's benefit to all coffee growers. It's of benefit to all the coffee growers, and that it will restore coffee as a strategic export crop in Kenya. I'm sure we are all aware of the legislative framework that exists for coffee, and we know that on 1st of July 2019, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperatives published the crops coffee general regulations, thus providing for the regulatory framework for development and regulation of the coffee sector by the Agriculture and Food Authority and county governments. And I really want to thank my colleagues from the county governments because we took the bull by the horns. When the regulations were rolled out, our roles were spelled out, and we have been able to undertake and steer the process very, very effectively. We also know that on March 27, 2020, the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, gazetted the Capital Markets Coffee Exchange regulations, which of course provide for incorporation of the coffee exchange, licensing of brokers, establishment and operationalization of a direct settlement system for expedited and transparent payment of coffee sales proceeds, conducting of trading in a secure, stable and transparent manner in an environment of fair competition, and the protection of the interest of the grower, the buyer, and other stakeholders at an exchange. So we are seeing there are a lot of developments, and the legislative agenda in the coffee industry is really very much in place. What remains is for us to do the implementation. And what I want to appreciate is the fact that now with this occasion of validating the roadmap, it gives us an opportunity to put our heads together and now chart the best way forward on the implementation of the roadmap and other coffee reforms in pursuit of the 100% food and nutrition security as envisioned in the agriculture sector growth and transformation strategy. And in line with, of course, the growth and transformation strategy, there is emphasis on the food crops and also the cash crops. And that is why when we develop our coffees and teas, we are working not just for nutrition and food security, but also ensuring that our farmers are economically empowered. And what I want to, there is no denying that the development, promotion, and regulation of the coffee industry does not only require efforts national and county governments, but also of all other stakeholders in the coffee value chain. And it is for this reason that the county governments, through the Council of Governors, supports establishment and operationalization of the Kenya Coffee Platform as an avenue for facilitating alignment of efforts towards improving coffee production and marketing. And I really want to thank my colleagues from the COG Secretariat for having coordinated a lot of efforts in the coffee sector. And we are hoping that Mr. Karogo, now that things are now, you know, as far as COVID is concerned, things are becoming a bit better. You'll organize a physical meeting for us so that we can be able to interact better. You know, a meeting of 1 or 2 hours is really not quite enough. And I believe there is much more we can discuss with the CECs and the county government on how we can even move the sector further. And like I said at the beginning, coffee is no longer a commodity that is grown in one region in Kenya. We are seeing a lot of counties, across all counties in Kenya now, coffee is becoming an important commodity. A lot of the CECs who are on this platform, they don't necessarily come from the traditional coffee growing counties, but we are having now the emerging giants and the emerging frontiers for coffee production, like it was mentioned here. And I really want, I would really wish that the KCP will try and refocus their efforts so that we can have better representation from the emerging counties, so that even as we constitute these committees and even look for the stakeholders, we make sure that the stakeholders are drawn from all the regions where we are producing coffee. In fact, and like you very well know, it was mentioned that if we are not careful with the trend that is emerging of now coffee plantations going into real estate, it will come a time that Kenya will not have enough coffee. And the only room that remains for expansion is in these other frontiers, North Rift, South Rift, the Western region. There is plenty of land for coffee expansion. And I would really wish that any other stakeholders coming into the coffee market, they can look into these frontiers when you talk about expansion of the coffee. And I think as I conclude, I wish to reaffirm the commitment of the county governments and Council of Governors towards supporting the coffee subsector and also facilitating smooth implementation of all functions assigned to it under the regulations. And now with these few remarks that I've done, I wish us all fruitful and engaging deliberations as we go through this coffee roadmap, which I believe was, from what I've read, it was very well done. And I invite my colleagues to be very generous with your comments so that we can also contribute and see how best we can implement it. Thank you, and let's get to the next level. Asanteni sana, and may God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa.